Greetings. Busho here from Flying Cloud Zen, and I want to talk for just a couple minutes today about judging during meditation. This is one of our most habit-bound activities during any kind of mindfulness practice or any kind of meditation practice. It seems all of us have a tendency to judge ourselves based on how close of attention we are paying to whatever our desired experience or object is. What I mean is, if we sit down to do, let's say, a half an hour of meditation and our focus is going to be mindfulness of body and breath, right? We settle into our posture. We bring our awareness to our body and to our breath, and we imagine that it will stay there. And all of us know, even if we've only meditated once or twice, that after only a few seconds, after only a few minutes, we will notice that our mind has begun to wander elsewhere, right? And so at that moment of recognition, oh, my mind has wandered from the body and breath, we actually have a moment of perfect awareness. Consciousness has just remembered, oh, right, this is daydream. I can now move to body and breath. I can now return to body and breath. I now have agency and choice to bring awareness back to body and breath, right? So this moment of recognition that we assign ourselves at the beginning of meditation, I'm going to be vigilant. I'm going to pay attention. And when I wander, I'll return, right? This moment of recognition becomes a moment of celebration. It should be. Oh, right, unconsciousness. Yes, right. I've gone to a daydream. I can now make a decision to come back to body and breath, a moment of perfect awareness. Wow. But the truth is, most of us, and when I say most of us, I mean pretty much all of us, instead of having the lights going back on moment being, wow, one of expansion and celebration, it actually becomes a moment of constriction and self-judgment. I've wandered again. Bad meditator. And that instant then before I return to body and breath becomes an instant of self-judgment. I've just chastised myself for what I imagine is failing at my project, right? This is so prevalent as to be basically universal with meditators. Even though the instruction universally is given, hey, notice when you wander and make a choice to return, what we normally end up doing is noticing when we wander, judging ourselves, and then returning. And this is so prevalent that I am not mystified when I hear people say, yeah, I tried meditating for a little while and I stuck with it for a couple days, couple weeks, and then I quit. Of course, if during a 30-minute sitting, for example, you wander and return 50 times, let's say, and there's a brief self-criticism, there's a brief constriction, there's a brief chastising, 50 times, let's say, during that 30 minutes, that's not a particularly pleasant experience, is it? Of course, you're not going to want to repeat that. So what I want to say to this is that, number one, it's so common, again, as to be universal. This is what human beings do. So when you notice yourself doing this, no, please, you're in good company, okay? Everybody does this. You're not unique, right? You're not unique in your wandering, and you're also not unique in the self-judging function that kicks in, right? This is what everybody does. So when you see it happening, go, oh, right, there's nothing dramatic here. I'm not special. This is no big deal, right? And then number two, the retraining is the recognition I've wandered brings about free will, volition, and agency, because in that moment, I have just become self-aware, right? A couple seconds ago, I was just daydreaming and I didn't know that I was daydreaming. I'm on autopilot. I don't have choice. I'm just on autopilot. So the moment when we catch it and go, oh, right, bam, a moment of choice. That's brilliant. That is brilliant, right? We start to recognize in that moment is awareness itself. That's actually what I sat down here to do this thing called meditation for, to catch it, to notice, right? To notice. I am the noticer. I'm not the autopilot. I'm the noticer of the autopilot, right? I'm not the one who wanders. I'm the noticing of the one who wanders. Wow, that's the point. That's the point of meditation, right? Isn't that the point? Is to become slowly but surely identified with consciousness itself, right? That infinite field of just awareness. No judgment, no identification, just the field of awareness, luminous, right? That responds to all and yet is also free of all. So that moment of noticing is a moment of rejoicing. It really is a moment of, oh, this is exactly what I signed up for. The noticing, hooray. I'm the noticer. I'm the noticer. So notice, please, when you constrict and when you judge during your meditation. Know that you're in good company. Know that everybody does it. Don't worry about it. Catch it when you do it and then go, right, here's the judgment. I'm going to practice just returning without judgment. I'm going to take the word of thousands of years of meditation teachers when they say the moment of awakening is the moment of rejoicing. You just saw something you didn't see before. You just got bigger. You noticed the wandering. Oh, what a blessing, right? What a blessing. Practice this. Practice this. It's a very subtle kind of internal retraining that we do, but we can get good at this just through simple repetition, that noticing becomes a celebration. Noticing becomes a celebration. Noticing becomes a celebration. And over time, you'll notice that this becomes true. Not only does the default narrative around wandering change, instead of I'm a bad person, I'm the noticer. That's lovely. But there's also a subtle emotional dimension, right? There is a subtle reinforced emotional reactivity to the returning being. Joy. It really is joy when we remember that we're not bound by our humanity. We're not bound by the forms of time that our body and our mental patterning and our karmic selves indicate, right? Sure, they're part of our experience. Of course, they're real. There's something to be touched and held. There's something to be cared after. But they in no way define our limits. That's why we meditate, to remember that we are awareness itself, right? We are eternity, as well as all of the forms in time. So let your wandering and your recognition be a moment of expansion. Please let this be a softening. Let this be a joyous recognition. Oh, I'm consciousness. I'm actually free. Wow. I hope that's helpful for you. Practice this and let me know what you learn. Okay. All right. Thank you.